I was a terrible student, and I was able to get a job at this newspaper I mentioned a little while ago, the Cleveland Press. And this is my little sermon. This is my real tiny little lecture. I was a lousy student, and if you're a lousy student, if you were a lousy student 50 years ago, you could get away with it, because there were more jobs in this country, and it was easier to get a job and make a decent wage. Today, if you're a lousy student, and you don't work hard in school, it's going to be much more difficult for you than it was for me. And that's the reason for that is there aren't as many jobs as there were. And there certainly aren't as many good jobs as there were 50 years ago in this country. So I was able to get away with being a lousy student where others might not. That's my little sermon. I'll now answer your question, but it's true. I mean, and so in 1971, I was 22 years old, and a guy at the Cleveland Press took a chance on me and gave me a job covering the first African-American mayor in the entire United States. Was a guy named Carl Stokes, and he was the mayor of Cleveland. And so I learned to work really hard. I worked a lot harder as a reporter than I did when I was a student. There weren't as many distractions. I went to school at a place that was known as a party school. And so I just worked really hard, and I had some people who were great mentors, and I was a reporter, and then I was a politics editor, and then I was a columnist, and then I was the editorial director of this big newspaper, the Plain Dealer, for 20 years. I was the #2 person at the whole newspaper for 20 years. And then I retired, and then they still decided to keep paying me to write this column for them. So I've been very, journalism is a profession that in many ways, myself excluded, it's an honorable one because it doesn't pay a lot.